Buenas tardes a todos, estamos en un nuevo podcast de Beer Seekers. Esta vez hemos venido no a una cervecera como solemos ir habitualmente, una solo cervecera, sino que estamos en un brew pub. Creo que es la primera visita que hacemos a un brew pub aquí en Nueva York, concretamente estamos en Brooklyn y se trata del brew pub Keg Lantern, el cual lo descubrimos hace poco en compañía de Nacho, de la tienda La Buena Cerveza de Madrid. Nos encantaron sus cervezas y nos permitieron visitar la fábrica y ahí surgió este encuentro. Vamos a charlar con el maestro cervecero Patrick Allen y será una charla pues como siempre informal para conocer un poquitín más a fondo este proyecto de Keg Lantern. So we are talking with Patrick Allen, brewmaster of the brew pub Keg Lantern. We are again in the Beer Seekers in our Meet the Brewer for the further podcast. So thank you, Patrick, for being here with the Beer Seekers.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Let's start just with the beginnings of the Keg Lantern project. If I'm not wrong, this project started just like a pub, and then it becomes a brew pub. What can you tell us about this story?
Well, the bar Keg Lantern was started about 7 years ago, and it was a craft beer bar, restaurant. And 2.5 years ago, the owner had the idea of putting a brewery in the basement. There was some empty space down there, and he put an ad out for a brewer. I was homebrewing beer at the time and managing a photography printing studio, so not professionally brewing beer by any means, but I brought in some of my home brews and he liked them, so I quit my job and figured out how to source the equipment and then brew beer professionally in the basement.
But we are a little bit surprised because, as you told, you were just a home brewer.
Yeah.
And how was this first contact between Keg Lantern and you? Why they thought about you just for this job? Le estoy preguntando. Patrick nos comentaba que el proyecto comenzó hace 7 años, simplemente como una cervecería donde servir cervezas artesanas y como restaurante también, pero hace 2 años y medio decidieron dar el salto para convertirse en un brew pub y en ese momento contactaron con Patrick, que en esos momentos solo era un cervecero casero, era un cervecero amateur, no era profesional, pero a los responsables de Keg Lantern les gustaron muchísimo sus cervezas y decidieron contar con él, así que aquí está. Y le estoy preguntando que estoy un poco sorprendido de que pensaran en una persona amateur y que cómo fue este primer contacto entre Keg Lantern y Patrick. We were talking about your first contact between Keg Lantern and you.
I just brought in a couple homebrews and the owner liked him. He actually he had a couple friends here as well, and they tasted the beer and they liked them, and the owner and I get along personally, so he trusted me to source the equipment and figure out how to make it work.
Estaba diciendo eso, que efectivamente habían testado a un par de homebrewers, finalmente les gustó lo que probaban de Patrick y confiaron en él para montar en la parte de abajo del pub pues la parte de cervecera. So how was this beginning? Because there is a big step between to make beer as a home brewer and to make beer as a professional. It's true that the brewery is not huge, but for sure you could feel the big difference.
Yeah, I was only making 5 gallons at a time at home, and we have a 3-barrel brewery now, which is 6 kegs or about 93 gallons of finished beer. But the difference between 5 gallons and 93 gallons isn't, it's the same process of mash for an hour, boil for an hour, cool the wort down, and then ferment. So it's the process doesn't change regardless of the scale, but the equipment changed a little bit, dealing with pumps and valves that I hadn't used before and that sort of thing. But there's a little bit of a learning curve there, but just a couple weeks of figuring out how to use those things. So.
Okay. Le preguntaba a Patrick que cómo había sido el salto de pasar de ser a un cervecero, digamos, amateur a gestionar por sí mismo todo un equipo, ¿no? de un brew pub, pues como es Keg Lantern. Él decía que realmente no le había costado mucho pasar de 5 galones a creo que eran 93 o 97 galones, que el proceso es exactamente el mismo, una hora de smash, una hora de hervido y ya está, que la única posible dificultad era simplemente manipular las bombas, las tuberías, lo que es la mecánica, pero que son un par de semanas que lo resolvió y que sin ningún tipo de problema. So, did the managers of Keg Lantern ask you about a specific kind of beer? Did they have any preferences because their customers, or you always are free to do what you want?
The main thing the owner wanted to have was some kind of easy drinking everyday beer. Really wanted a Pilsner at the beginning, but just strayed away from that because it takes longer to ferment and condition. So I instead made technically I guess it's a cream ale, but more of we call it just a golden ale. Just an easy everyday drinking, quick turnaround beer that we can make and always have on tap. Other than that, not really much in terms of you have to make this or don't make that. I really have freedom to make whatever I want, but I myself as a craft beer drinker want variety when I go places, and I stay up to date with the trends, and I like IPAs. IPAs is the #1 seller, so we always have an IPA on, and at this point actually we always have like 2 or 3 on, but we make a wide range. We have 10 to 15 of our beers on tap, and we're a brew pub and we don't serve a lot of outside beer, so we want everything from light to dark, malty to hoppy, high ABV to low ABV, so really having that range, considering the people that come here are also from all walks of life, craft beer nerds to young professionals to the old Polish community to old New York community. So there's a lot of different clients
funny
here.
Because you have a wide range of people coming here.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Our customers are like our beers, different.
Bueno, muy bien. Pues Patrick nos comenta que, le preguntaba eso, si de los managers de Keg Lantern en algún momento le habían pues comentado que tenían alguna preferencia de estilo de cerveza, porque como llevaban abiertos varios años antes y ellos tenían una clientela, digamos, establecida, si esa clientela podía preferir algún tipo de estilo. Patrick me comentaba que esencialmente no, que básicamente, por supuesto, tener alguna cerveza que fuera muy bebible, de trago fácil. Habían pensado inicialmente en una Pilsner, pero bueno, se llevaba también un proceso un poquito más largo, así que al final optó por una Cream Ale, una Golden Ale, y a partir de ahí él se siente totalmente libre de hacer diferentes tipos de cerveza. Él comentaba que como no tienen cervezas de fuera, de alguna manera tienen que cubrir todo el espectro, todo el rango de tipos de cervezas, desde las más oscuras a las más claras, con diferentes estilos, porque además tienen un tipo de clientela muy variado, ¿no? Tienen desde los nerds o frikis cerveceros a jóvenes profesionales, entonces procuran tener alguna cerveza que guste a todo el mundo, ¿no? Pero que todo el mundo que viene aquí es porque le gusta la cerveza en general y porque les gusta además esta cerveza en particular. So, Patrick, I have tested some of your beers. I'm in love with your beers, and I'm not the only one, because the Nacho from the Beer Seeker from the good beer store in Spain, is shocked about your IPAs, for example.
Nice.
But I have noticed that your IPAs, for example, and it's a very good thing to me, is not so clear. It's like, how you say the word?
Hazy.
Hazy. And sometimes people don't like this. I love that, but do you think that could be something risky? And what do you prefer this kind of aspect of the beer? Is related also with the flavors?
Depending on just the ingredients that we're using, depends on sort of the level of... Depends on the ingredients that we're using. Depends on what clarity we're getting. I mean, there's several factors. But for instance, like the Green Eyes IPA that we have on tap was actually pretty clear. Did you try that one? The Green Eyes IPA?
I tried two IPAs.
Yeah.
And a pale ale. And I think that all of them, but it's just 3 of the 15 beers, they have this aspect that I really love. So for me, something great.
Yeah, the other, the Green Eyes IPA that we...
You know, it reminds me this kind of wheat beers from Belgium, unfiltered, like heavies. I love this kind of beers.
It just really just comes down to the ingredients and the process that we're using for each beer. I mean, like I said, the Green Eyes IPA that we have on all the time is actually drops pretty clear. The other ones, it's really a combination of yeast and hop choice. You know, some of those beers, those cloudy IPAs out there now are there's a lot of yeast, I think, left in suspension. But ours, actually, the yeast drops pretty well out of the beer. It drops pretty clear, and the beer has a really nice clarity. And then when we dry hop it, we get a really heavy haze, which is just an interaction of polyphenols and other stuff going on there. But you know, we could filter that, but we don't filter any of our beers, and we could put gelatin in it, which comes from cows, which I don't want to do that. We could put there's like PVPP, which is plastic. I could put that in the beer, but I don't really want to put plastic in my beer. So you know, I just leave it.
I think that's right. No, le preguntaba a Patrick que bueno, cuando vinimos pudimos probar solamente algunas de sus cervezas y nos parecía que algunas de las IPAs, sobre todo, tenían un aspecto un poquito turbio, que a mí me recordaba pues a algunas cervezas de trigo alemanas, por ejemplo, que además me encanta, ese aspecto me encanta, y le estaba preguntando si era buscado, si era a propósito, porque bueno, a mucha gente sobre todo le suele gustar las cervezas como muy claras, muy transparentes, y él nos decía que bueno, que eso dependía, que no todas las cervezas que sirven son así, que como decíamos tienen 15 diferentes estilos de cerveza. Justamente las que hemos probado nosotros tenían este aspecto, pero también tienen otras mucho más limpias, que depende simplemente de la combinación de lúpulos y de levaduras y de los procesos que hacen a veces de dry hopping, y que posteriormente eso no se filtra. Es decir, él podría haber utilizado coagulantes, la mayoría de ellos artificiales, pero a él le gusta su cerveza natural tal cual es. O sea, no quiere, digamos, añadir nada artificial, por así decirlo, a sus cervezas. So Patrick, which is the challenge now? Are you trying new recipes? What do you feel that you need to do something new every time, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, since we started, I think we've made over 100 beers. Over 100 different beers.
Here in Keg Lantern?
In the last 2 years, so I'm always making new things. I don't want to make the same thing over and over again. So I mean, we do always have the Golden Ale and the Green Eyes on tap. So those are the two that we make basically every week, every 2 weeks to keep them on, just so that people know they will be there. But the other, 10 or so taps, those are changing. Although now there's kind of a couple of favorites that I'm trying to keep on a little bit more, like the ones you had, actually, the Cloudier IPA and the Pale Ale. But still making new beers. Going back and making some of the beers that I made originally that I didn't necessarily remake, knowing what I've learned, remaking them now. Like I'm drinking the Knickerbocker Pilsner right now, which I made 5 times when we started 2 years ago, but I haven't made it since then. So I'm going back and making it now. Change the yeast that I'm using a little bit because I like the yeast better. Definitely keep making new things and revisit things that I made before, but we've made a lot of beers, so there's a lot to choose from, but I don't want to get stuck just making the same things. And people that come in, I think it's nice to see something new, too. So.
Le preguntaba a Patrick cuál era un poco los retos que se plantea para el futuro, si quería hacer alguna receta nueva. Como os decía, conocimos este brew pub hace unos días y yo no sabía algo que me acaba de decir, que es que en estos 2 años y medio desde que él está siendo brewmaster de Keg Lantern, han elaborado alrededor de 100 cervezas diferentes, o sea que está constantemente buscando nuevas fórmulas, revisitando algunas nuevas fórmulas y al mismo tiempo incorporando variaciones. Él es de Maryland y de alguna manera él quiere también recuperar ese toque de las cosas que hacía cuando él estaba allí. Le gusta mucho trabajar con las levaduras. Y además, una cosa que él valora y que creo que es verdad, que es que en general al público le gusta ir probando cosas nuevas y que a él particularmente además no le gusta quedarse estancado, siempre quiere generar algún desafío. Ahora está probando la Knickerbocker Pilsner, nos comentaba que la está haciendo desde hace apenas unas semanas y que en definitiva siempre está haciendo cosas nuevas. So we've been talking about this project. Just a few questions about craft beer movement in general. How do you think about craft beer movement just in our days, both in United States, or if you prefer in New York area, and outside the US?
Obviously it's been growing. It's a good thing. It's going to keep growing. People are worried that it's a bubble that's going to bust, but like New York City, for instance, I think we only had like 5 breweries 5 years ago, and now we have like a dozen maybe, or we have less than 20, and we could use hundreds. We don't even distribute our beer, and we sell all of it here. So there could be a brew pub on every block. So I'm not so worried about a bubble busting. I think there's not a lot, but there's definitely some bad beer being made, or just mediocre beer, and I don't know that that'll stick around, which is a good thing also. The market should deem who.
Can you repeat that, please?
There's beer that's not so great, okay, that those breweries might not stick around, but that's probably for the better in the long run. It's all we all want to be drinking good beer, and the market will support the people that are brewing good beer, and the people that aren't brewing great beer, it won't support. No, in general, it's awesome. Most of along with the movement on the industry side of things and the brewer side of things, all the brewers know each other. Some of us went to the same homebrew clubs or brewing beer professionally now. We share ideas. It's a community of share ingredients. So just in terms of like brewers, there's a nice community, and then in terms of brewers and craft beer bar owners, the other side of the industry, the people selling the beer, we all get along because they want our product and we have the product that we're making, so there's a nice relationship there. So from somebody in the industry, it's really nice because the community is a really good one to be in, as opposed to, I don't know, other industries where maybe you feel a little more cutthroat or it's just a boring industry. I don't know. Craft beer is fun, and most people in the industry just enjoy beer, which means you enjoy culture, history, life, creativity, talking. So it's an avenue for the community to take part in, and so from a brewer side of it and an industry side of it, it's a very good time to be in it.
Okay. Bueno, le preguntamos a Patrick que hiciera una valoración de la situación actual del movimiento de la cerveza artesana, tanto en Estados Unidos como fuera. Él ha centrado su respuesta sobre todo en la parte local de Estados Unidos, y decía que en general que creía que el movimiento estaba muy vivo, que no pensaba que fuera a haber un estallido de ninguna burbuja de la cerveza artesana, porque ellos, por ejemplo, que me comentaba que no distribuyen la cerveza fuera del local, toda la cerveza que hacen aquí la venden, de tal manera que incluso podría haber muchos más locales como este distribuidos por el área urbana de Nueva York, y seguro que venderían sus cervezas. Comentaba que además hay una comunidad entre los brewers, entre los cerveceros, en la cual se ayudan, en la cual comparten los ingredientes, en la cual comparten experiencias y recetas, y que hay muy buen ambiente. Eso pasa también a la hora de servir al público. Hay muy buena relación con los clientes. La gente está encantada con la cerveza artesana. No sabe, dice que no sabe cómo será en otro tipo de industrias, pero que por lo menos en la industria de la cerveza artesana las cosas están yendo bien, y no parece que en un futuro próximo vayan a ir mal. Do you know something about the craft beer movement outside the US? Do you have any favorite craft beer from other part, or do you know, or I don't know, something that keeps your attention outside?
Yeah, honestly, we don't really get a whole lot here. I guess we do. But just usually there's so many more fresher local options that I go to when I go to a bar, that why would I buy an IPA from Italy or wherever when I can buy it from down the street. And the same for somebody that lives abroad too. If the beer is made there, why would you not just drink it from there? So usually I'm going for the local fresher option. Okay. Unless I'm going for a more like traditional, I want a Pilsner from Germany and I want to taste that flavor, then I'll buy that. But and I haven't really traveled abroad too recently, so can't weigh in too much there.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, my good friend lived in Portugal for a while, and he complained about the craft beer scene there, but it sounds like there's more going on. Mean Sardine comes to mind, but still very wine focused there. So I'm aware of things changing. I know there's a lot of breweries popping up in England now, craft breweries, brewing variety styles. So I know it's spreading. I've had several people come here from Brazil, Dominican Republic, touring the brewery just to check out the equipment because they're interested in starting a brewery back home. So I've had people come to look at it to maybe start breweries else places, but
this is one of the points of the new breweries, these local breweries, and the craft beer movement in general, that is focused in the local beer, in the beer that you have around you. So for me it makes sense. So it's interesting that you are saying. Le preguntaba a Patrick si tenía alguna preferencia sobre cervezas de fuera de Estados Unidos, si conocía un poco ese mercado exterior, pero él comentaba que sinceramente que prefería ir a los sitios locales, y ya que estás en un lugar donde hacen allí la cerveza, él siempre prefiere tomar la cerveza de esa zona. Por supuesto conoce, pues que comentaba que en el Reino Unido están ahora apareciendo muchísimas fábricas de cerveza artesana. Tenía un amigo que recientemente había estado en Portugal y bueno, había compartido con él algunas cervezas de allí, que las había probado, y que por supuesto prueba algunos estilos, ¿no?, para quedarse con los sabores, las pilsner alemanas, por ejemplo, comentaba, pero que bueno, que él prefería ceñirse a las cosas un poquito más locales. Y yo le comentaba que bueno, que también tiene mucho sentido, porque al fin y al cabo el movimiento de la cerveza artesana está muy relacionado, muy unido a lo local, ¿no? So talking, and it's just for ending this interview, are you worried, talking about the local part of the movement of the craft beer, are you worried about this movement of the no local, or how you say, or about these big brewers that are catching the smaller breweries? So, for example, I don't know, AB InBev brewery is now the owner of small breweries. Are you worried about this kind of movements?
Not specific in terms of the brewery and the business here. Yeah, it doesn't really affect us. But in general,
or could be something good. For example,
yeah, no,
you never know.
In general, I think it's very smart on their part. I mean, why would they come out with an IPA when they could just buy a brewery that's already making it? So business-wise, from their part, I think they're very smart and clever, and it makes sense. From an industry standpoint, I think it's nice to have transparency, and we're starting to lose that a little bit. You know, it's nice to know where your beer's coming from. It's nice to know where your bread's baked. It's nice to know where your eggs are coming from, and losing that, you're kind of losing touch with just the producer, and I don't think it's a problem for the business to sell necessarily. They're making a lot of money and they worked hard, and good for them. That's great. So there's no harm, no foul there, and the people that are working at those breweries are still probably local people and it's still supporting the community. So that's all good. I just the transparency gets lost a little bit, and that's kind of a shame, I guess. It's good for people to know in the end that where that profit is going to. It says that that profit's not going directly to somebody that lives in the community. It's going to somebody that lives way somewhere else. So it's okay.
Ok, le preguntábamos a Patrick si estaba preocupado. Pido disculpas porque la pregunta no ha sido perfectamente formulada. Le preguntaba que si estaba preocupado por la adquisición de pequeñas cerveceras artesanas por parte de cerveceras más grandes, y él decía que no, que en general no está preocupado, que él piensa que por supuesto a ellos localmente no les afecta. Que lo único que podría, tener como preocupación es que esto pudiera suponer una pequeña falta de transparencia de cara al consumidor, ¿no? Que el consumidor tiene derecho a saber de dónde o de quién procede la cerveza que consume, quién es el propietario final de la cerveza que consume. Que él cree que a pesar de estar absorbidas en parte por grandes marcas de cerveza, que seguramente los trabajadores seguirán siendo locales, que seguirán soportando y que seguirán dando apoyo a movimientos locales, pero que la gente tiene derecho a saber si esto es así, o sea, que efectivamente que cuando tú compras una cerveza quieres saber si el dinero que estás dando es para una persona local o para cosas locales, o si esa parte del dinero está yendo a una gran empresa. O sea, que él ve muy bien porque dice que seguramente las cerveceras que han sido absorbidas seguirán trabajando muy duro, que seguirán haciendo muy buenos proyectos, y que no tiene ningún problema con eso, simplemente lo único que desea es que siga habiendo muchísima transparencia en el mercado. So, Patrick, thank you very much for being here with the Beer Seekers. I apologize for my awful spoken English. I'm trying to get in better and better. And thanks for your patience, and thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yep.
Pues nada, le hemos dado las gracias a Patrick por soportarnos. De nuevo nos disculpamos porque estamos intentando mejorar rápidamente nuestro nivel de inglés. Esperamos que os haya gustado la entrevista, nos ha parecido muy interesante, y todos los que vengáis a Nueva York, pasaros por Brooklyn, y en Brooklyn pasaros por el Keg Lantern, que de verdad no os vais a arrepentir porque tiene unos cervezotes y se come muy bien a un precio muy razonable. Ahí lo dejo. Un abrazo a todos, nos vemos en los bares. Cheers, salud.